Welcome in to your episode of Kollectiv Knowledge. I'm your host, Shane Barrett. You can find me on Twitter at FFShaneB. And joining me tonight to kick off our Black History Month series is the one, the only, fire content only master, real deal fantasy, or if you know him well enough, you know him as LQ, LaQuan. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing good, man. It's a quiet night. I'm sick of the snow, but I got to deal with what Mother Nature gives me.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It's been interesting, the weather these past few weeks, even down here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Snow in places that doesn't normally get it, and more snow in places that it does sometimes get it.
Yeah,
So
right.
I feel you on that one.
Snow needs to go. I'm buying a flamethrower. I said that this morning. It must go.
That would be fitting for fire content only.
See, I got to get its own brand.
So LQ, you are a fantasy football content creator, a writer for Downtown Rams, and video content creator for 32-Bit, Mayo Media Network, and DLF. And we will talk about that towards the middle of the show. But first, we got to pay the bills, and that is with our ad read. So, totally lost my place on the show sheet. Come prop up on Thrive Fantasy this football season. I know football season is wrapping up, but Thrive has baseball, they have golf, they've got basketball. So it's a daily fantasy sports and esports app for player props. You choose 10 out of the 20 available props to build your lineup, and you either pick the over or the under, and you get points based on how likely that is to hit. So like tonight, I don't think they actually have college basketball, but I'm just going to use a college basketball example because it's what I can think of. Jabari Smith over 15 points. It would be something that I would be hitting. Or Steph Curry over 25. That would be something that you could hit on Thrive. So hit the most props, rack up the most points, and you want to share the prize pool. I had a pretty good streak going, and towards the end of the football season, that went crashing down. I'm going to blame it on COVID. But make sure when you guys sign up that you use promo code FFShaneB, and you can do that on the App Store, the Play Store, or www.thrivefantasy.com. Sign up and prop up today. All right. LQ, are you ready?
Let's do it. Full send it.
We're gonna full send. And we are going to start off by jumping into current events, if you will. So it's Black History Month. There is, how do I put this? Systemic racism within the NFL when it comes to the hiring processes of head coaches.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, right. 70% of the players at least are Black, and there's one head coach right now that's Black.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Flores is suing the NFL, the Dolphins, the Broncos, and the Giants. So just quickly kind of give me your thoughts on the lawsuit and what you think will come of it. Here's my question, actually.
Yeah.
Do you think this will actually bring the change that the NFL has needed for a while?
To be honest, no. I mean, we're taking the right steps forward to make the right moves. Like, we're seeing the NFL shift and kind of like, say, hey, we fucked up with cap. Now let's make it right. So, but a lot of those things aren't really like going to solve the problem right there. It honestly comes with ownership, diversity and ownership. Then you just basically kill all that noise, because what's going on with Flores is basically something we knew was already happening, like, to begin with. And it's like, all right, now he's taken the right steps forward to actually make some moves to say, hey, I'm suing you guys. Like, he has a chance to win this, of course.
Yeah.
But then also that chance that he may never coach again, but that's fine. We seen what Cap did. Cap did what he did, and he didn't get back in the NFL, but he brought change. Things were happening, behind the scenes, clearly, that us fans or people didn't really know, but we still see, some of the things that Cap did make an impact on today. So Flores is just doing the same thing to hopefully this triggers like, hey, maybe we do a change of ownership, or maybe like an election. That's what I always wanted to do. Like you have an election every couple of years for ownership. Like it's not exactly them getting fired, but just to have somebody that's in charge of operations, hiring, et cetera, et cetera. Like,
Yeah.
hey, you could be behind the scenes, you own this team, but you're not going to be making the calls of when it comes down to hiring and
Well, I think
operations.
that brings up another good point, LQ, and I don't know the statistics off the top of my head for this, but having a more diverse, like not mid-level, but even senior level management
Mhm.
underneath the owner,
Yeah,
like have black president of player operations or president
yeah,
of football operations, have that diversity within that, and we've seen it, I think, with women starting to crack into that.
yeah.
Um, so we need it too with black people and getting that inclusion.
Yeah,
In my
Hispanic
opinion,
people, Asian people, and Indian people, it
exactly.
doesn't
Yeah,
even matter. You know what I
a
mean? Just
100%.
all around, it just needs to change, honestly, because it's like we're seeing this every single year, every single day, and it's like, when is it going to change? Like, when is it going to be that trigger to say, hey, you're doing something wrong, and let's try to, pivot to something different? Maybe, you never know. Maybe you hire the guy that's most qualified and happens to be Indian or Asian or even a
Yeah,
woman of color or whatever the case may be. Like, why don't you take that shot and see some progression in the NFL? But we shall see what comes to that.
we shall. I'm very intrigued to see how this plays out, and I'm wishing the best for Brian Flores because he's taken a brave step, if you ask me.
Yeah, definitely brave. He
So,
needs to be protected.
yep,
Protect him at all costs.
yeah, definitely. All right, let's jump into the meat of the show. And the whole point of this show of Collective Knowledge is to get to know, um, really get to know the fantasy community, and it's for me to get to know people, but then to share that with my followers and followers of the collective. So, LQ, we'll start with the first question that we always start this show off with. When was your first fantasy football league?
Oh God, man, I was still working at Jiffy Lube when I was basically getting introduced to fantasy league. So, uh, man, I want to say probably like 2012ish.
Okay.
Like I want to say 2012 to lock that in. So about 10 years really. So which is dope.
Okay.
But
Nice.
I really was just getting bugged into that league to just join it to join it. They always needed a guy. And I always like think back like why they always needed a guy, and it's because the league was trash. Like the league was terrible. You know what I mean? Like the draft process took forever, and like those like I love the guys that I started with, honestly. Like those guys, they were fun to play with. They kept it entertaining, but man, like terrible drafting. Jacoby Jones went in like the freaking second round, and yeah, and I ended up with Julio Jones and AJ Green as my 1-2. Like I didn't do bad for my
Oh,
first
that's a
fantasy draft.
good duo back
Yeah,
then.
everybody said I was stupid, but then I won like 9 games in a row. So it was just like I
No.
don't know, but it was a great year, but like thankfully that league came to an end because like
Okay.
it was just unorganized. It was just
Yeah.
terrible. And the
Yeah.
scoring, I didn't know the difference in scoring until that third year I played. Like it was standard on top of that. You know what I mean? So like,
Oh,
to find
goodness
out what
gracious.
PPR was, it was
Yeah.
like this is way better. Like this makes more sense. So yeah, like thankfully that league came to an end. It was just unorganized as hell, and it was just a bunch of grown men screaming at each other as well in group chats. So
Yeah.
it was just nuts.
It sounds like Twitter in a nutshell.
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome. So you've already stated that that league ended. So what is your
Yeah,
longest running league right now?
would be my home league that I'm the commissioner of. It's
Okay.
basically, a couple guys I went to high school with, and we kind of just was like, hey, let's start our own fantasy league because we all were like kind of spread up. Like when I was in leagues with like two of my friends, and they're in other leagues and stuff like
Mhm.
that. So I was like, you know what? I'll put it together. We'll have it at my place. I'll bring the beer, pizza, whatever the case may be. We just hang out and
Attaboy.
have a fantasy league. So that was actually, was like 2016. I think I did that,
Okay.
and I started recording the parties, and like they're on my YouTube channel now. You can catch like 2 or 3 of them where I basically record the entire party. It's like basically
Nice.
a draft party, and like we have fun drinks and there's jokes and stuff like that. It's a
Awesome.
great time.
Awesome. 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 Okay, so what are the league settings for your first league and for your longest running league?
All right, so the first league, it was a straight up standard. There was nothing
Okay.
special about it. Like, I think
Okay.
it was 4 points for like every
That's
touchdown. Like, it was just
every
disgusting.
touchdown.
Yeah, every touchdown was probably like 4 points because I remember I almost won that league, and it was a double header. It was a 2-week championship thing. That's what screwed me because the one game I thought I won, I beat them. Like, yeah, and they're like, there's another week, right? And I'm like, why would there be 2 weeks and I just beat the shit out of them? And they
Yeah.
combined the points and he ended up kicking my ass the next week because nobody played. So I'm
Yep.
like, yeah.
Oh, so was it a week 17 championship for the second round?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
And
okay.
they combined it points, and I'm like, of course nobody put up anything because nobody's playing the last game. They're going to the playoffs. Like it literally screwed me up, and that's when I was like disgusted. That started the whole standard league like campaign of like, if you play standard leagues, I'm blocking you. I promise to God, I'm going to block you. Do not invite me to a standard league because I will block the shit out of you and just never talk to you again.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so what about for your home league? What are the settings for that?
All right, so the home league, it is right now tight end premium. It is one quarterback league still with kickers and defense, PPR, and I think we put a spin on the QB sacks, so it's probably
Okay.
-2 for QB
Okay.
sacks.
I
And
kinda
I
like
think
that.
we're going into this year, we're going to try to get it to super flex because I bring it to the table every single year, super
Yeah.
flex, and they don't want to do it. So they hate the commissioner. So everything I put on the table, they think I'm cheating. I have some type of advantage, but whatever.
Nice. Is it redraft?
Yep, redraft. Yep.
Okay, cool.
Redraft with the same guys, and they don't want to do dynasty. Make it make sense.
Uh, man, there is something fun about redraft, like
Yeah.
redraft and drafting your team every year, but I love Dynasty so much.
I'm just now
Um,
getting into Dynasty really to where like I'm starting to love it. Like I like it,
yeah,
but now I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to love it. The grind of like building this Dynasty team, the
yep.
trade picks and et cetera, et cetera. It's just I can't find that one Dynasty league right now to where like I'm like locked in and trying to like build this
Trying to go
team.
for it.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because there's so many leagues that I joined like unresponsibly, like last year. And the year before that. Like I was in like
Hashtag COVID leagues.
yeah, for real. COVID leagues really destroyed my passion for most of the leagues that I had. Like most of the teams, like I left a ton of like leagues this season. So it's like, man, I need to cut it down because I think I was in like close to like 17 leagues last year, and the year before that, I was like super hungry to just jump in every league. So I was at like
Yeah.
22. So I was like, yeah, nah.
I think if you included best ball this year, I was at 38.
I didn't include best ball, by the way.
Okay. Yeah. So if you take out best ball, I think it was 20 something this
Jeez.
year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've fallen back on that just because there were some leagues that were just inactive and so
Yeah, and
yeah.
it has to be entertaining too. That's the reason
Yeah.
why I left in a couple leagues because like the group chat is like dead and
Yeah.
there's no real trading going on. Like everybody's just kind of like oh, this is like my 20th league. I'm just here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like that's why I'm cutting it down to probably like 4 to 6 leagues this year. So
Ooh, that's a big cutback.
no, it's a huge cutback financially too. Financially too.
Okay, so next question. Even though you're cutting back on leagues, let's say you can join one more league. But it's got to be your favorite settings. What are your favorite settings to join a league?
Right now, Superflex, PPR. You could throw a tight end premium there. I really don't care for it. But yeah, probably Superflex PPR. That's it.
Okay.
Probably right now I'm gonna stick with Dynasty, being that I'm starting to love it. So
Yeah.
it'll probably have to be Dynasty.
Okay, I like that. Have you played tiered PPR?
No.
Ooh, I love tiered PPR.
I gotta figure what that is out now.
Yeah, so there's two kinds. There's tiered PPR by position. So like running back is like 0.5, wide receiver is 1, and then tight end is like 1.5. But then there's tiered PPR by distance, and that's what I prefer, where it's like 0 to 4 yards is like half point, and then 5 to 9 yards is 0.75, 10 to 19 is 1, 20 to 29 is 1.5.
Wow, that's interesting.
Like yeah, so it's really fun.
Oh, nice.
My home league Dynasty is tiered PPR, and then pretty much any league that I commission is probably going to be tiered PPR just because I like it that much.
That's usually how it goes.
So, okay, when did you start making fantasy football content?
So for me, this will be year 4, I
Wow.
believe.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
this will be year 4 going into this season, and it's been a journey, man. It's been a while. Like I think this past 2 years, I've really took it serious. Like I kicked it up a notch because
Yeah.
there's actually 1 year on I forget, it's probably 2019 to be honest, where I only have 6 videos for
Okay.
that season because I was transitioning from one job to a different job, schedule changing, and
Yeah.
I really wasn't like really into it because I wasn't getting any traction. So
Yeah.
that's a lesson learned because if I was actually still grinding that year, I'll probably be, not better, like I wouldn't say in my craft, but I'll be more sharpened. I'll be
Yeah.
not
Absolutely.
getting the rust off like last season. So I feel like I'll be like further along and like the routine and schedule's already planned out. But I think I'm doing okay right now of like with my schedule wise and like protecting my time.
Yeah.
So I feel like, that year it kind of was like slump, but I still count that as a year as me doing fantasy content.
Yeah. Totally. No, and that's like last night was my first night recording in probably 3 or 4 weeks because
Mhm.
you need that time to yourself to
Yeah.
recharge.
I also took a
Um,
break too. Yeah.
so it was the perfect. I feel like I timed it pretty well because last year when it was like it was off season turning into the regular season, I was like, oh, I'm burnt out. Like
Hmm.
I was burnt out from making
Yep.
content all off season. So
It's nuts, man, because it really gets to you because like you find yourself not wanting to do the research. I found myself
yeah,
like kind of like that last summer to where like I don't want to do the research. Like I'm literally burnt out already. You know
yeah,
what I mean? But then just take breaks because I feel as though like that 3 weeks that I took off from video content, it kind of helped me better in writing because I
yeah,
kind of separate the two as well too. Because like writing, I can sit down for 2 hours and do whatever I need to do, and I can still chill. But video, like it's a different preparation, it's a different gear.
absolutely.
Like I can't get on here and be tired. Like all of like 2020, most of my videos were done 4:30 in the morning, and then I go to work. Like
Oh my
nobody knew
goodness,
that. Nobody knew that I would wake up, but you
that's
could see
awesome.
it in my face. So I stopped doing that because it's like you could literally tell like I'm not really awake. I'm not really
Yeah,
that
yeah,
energized like how I usually am. So that was nuts. I don't know why I did that. Like I literally could have waited till I got home because like I looked at it like, you know what? If I could wake up early and do the research the night before, knock it out, had the video uploaded, and just work the entire day, like it sounds good. But no, you could just tell on my face I'm not ready.
yeah. Nope, I get that. They're like this morning. Or last night recorded the episode of the nightcap, and it was almost midnight by the time we finished. And it was either stay up late and edit it or go to sleep because I knew I had to get up early and then edit it at some time and just deal with releasing it later instead of
Yeah,
on schedule. And I was like, I'm just gonna release it a bit later.
yeah. Yeah, man, it's important, man. You got to get your sleep. You got to protect your time too at the same time. So
Definitely.
I do recommend breaks. People are still going to be there for the content. They're not going anywhere.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So what made you start creating content for fantasy football?
So what made me really start? So Nick Ercolano, really, first of all, I got to give a
Yeah.
shout out to him every chance I get when I get asked this question because he's honestly the reason why I literally put into gear. Like he told me what mic to get, he told me what lighting I should get, and this was just off of a email I sent him, not expecting him to respond back. But he really like kind of like inspired me to do it because of like he had like his whole draft parties recorded. That's where I got the idea from, first of
Yeah.
all. And like Snacks, his boy Snacks really
Yeah.
sold me on it because he's like a nutcase. So I started watching like all his draft videos, and then I got into his fantasy videos, and then I'm just looking at like this is a kid, like a guy in this room just talking fantasy. And like
Yep.
already prior to that, people were coming to me for advice at my job and like my friends and stuff, and I'll be telling them like what I know of like what I found out, who's injured and etc. And I'm like, maybe I should just do a channel, like maybe
Yeah.
I should get motivated and do it. And then talking to Nick, it was just like nuts because like I really didn't expect to get an email back from him so quick, first of all. And then he literally put a list of like Amazon stuff that I should get. Mind you, I'm like, he has like 3,000 subscribers. Like, he don't know me. Like, why is he doing this? And that just attested like how cool, how good of a dude is. And he's like so helpful. So
Yeah.
every time I get asked this question, I don't care if it's 10 years from now, no matter where I'm at in my career or whatever I'm doing, I'm going to be like shouting him out because
Oh,
literally without him, I wouldn't be here.
Yeah, I love that. That's same thing with me. Like if I hit a fallen milestone or something like that, like I'm always gonna thank the astronauts because they
Yep.
gave me my first shot at creating content, and then let me start a podcast on their network and whatnot. So same thing. Shout out to FF astronauts. Like love those guys. Um, so and I really respect someone who will always remember where they came from. So I
Yeah,
love that.
definitely,
Absolutely love
man.
that. So what was your first piece of content then?
I watched it not too long ago. So it's a running back tiers video. It's my first video ever.
Nice.
And I was like super nervous. I was in my bedroom. I had the TV basically like kind of like pivot like towards the camera, playing highlights from like last season and stuff like that. And like I was so nervous. And you could tell that like I wanted to go for the straightforward look. Like you're not gonna
Yeah.
see me looking at notes, you're not gonna see me looking down. Like I wanted to do that, but then I just kept messing up, and you just see cut, cut, cut,
Yeah.
cut, 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 and you see me like going into sentence, running into each other. So it's a good watch, but it's very humbling at the same time. But
Totally.
I definitely thought like jumping into running back tiers was like something that I really liked. Like the research for that was like pretty not easy, but like I was like more open to do it. Like I was ready to
Yeah.
like really dig into that because tiers over ADP, if you ask me.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Facts.
all right. What is your favorite thing about the fantasy football community?
So the community, man, I love how open arms it is. Like when I first jumped into it, because like I was already for the first 2 3 years, I was like really heavy into Instagram, Facebook, because I was in a ton of fantasy football Facebook groups for years, and that's
Yeah.
really where I got some of the traction. So I basically went to Twitter and I was like, you know what, let me make a Twitter account for it. Why not? And like immediately, like the first month or two, like I think I had like 300 followers, and like
Yeah.
that was just based off of people like, hey, new to the fantasy community, hey, check out LQ and he's
Yeah.
doing videos and all this other stuff. And I'm like, holy shit. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know you guys. So like it kind of was like that's like the best thing about this community. Like, you can literally wake up, make a Twitter or make a YouTube channel, whatever the case you want to like go into. And it's like you will have support there from everybody,
Yeah.
like literally everybody. Like people will be wanting to big you up, randomly. It's like, hey, he's new to Twitter, boom, 100 files right there. That's
Yeah.
what's like, really dope about this community.
Yeah. Absolutely. Um, kind of to your point, like Angry Sports Couple, him and her, um, did the same thing for me. Like
Yeah,
I
one of my
wouldn't
first
even,
few files. Yeah,
yeah, I hadn't even started really creating content. I was just like kind of sitting in the shadows, like interacting with people, answering
yeah.
questions that people would randomly post. Um, which now like people call it engagement farming, and part of me is just like, no, like it's just asking a question. Like
Can we touch on
it's
that
just
real
asking a
quick?
question to your followers. We'll leave
I just
that
want to
alone.
clear
But
that up though, real quick, because like
yeah,
on my end, when I tweeted that, like engagement farming, that was literally towards like engagement farming. I'm asking what your favorite color is, or
yeah,
the
yeah,
ketchup guy. Nothing against the ketchup guy. I actually like that guy. I follow that guy. I
yeah,
didn't mute him. So it's like, okay, yeah, I know what he does. That's on brand. But my
yeah,
engagement farming was attacking the nonsense of just like, why are you tweeting this for 8 hours
yeah,
with no content behind it? You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I'm talking towards, to be honest, like the creators. Like, why are
yeah,
you doing this? Like, this isn't your brand. This isn't what you do, and it's not
yeah,
helping anything in the area where you want it to help.
yeah,
So that's where I stand on it. Like engagement farmers, you do you. I don't care if
yeah,
your
totally.
entire page is that's what your brand is. But if you're in the community and you're doing fancy content, etc., I don't want to see it. I want to see your content. I don't want to see you asking what's your favorite animal. No,
Yeah,
tell me who to draft or tell me
yeah,
who I should pick up off the waiver wire. Like that's really where I'm coming from. I can't speak on
no,
where everybody else is coming from, but
I'm totally with
me,
like,
that's
and
where I
that's
come.
the thing for me. Like, I'll ask a question like, "Who's someone that you guys are buying low on?" And it's
That's
really
not
like
engagement farming at all.
it's really for me
Yes
to
to no.
like to do like a find targets to go buy that I'm not already thinking about, or b just to like interact with people. Like I just like interacting with people. That was
That
kind of
is
why
not engagement farming. I've seen this going for 2 weeks to where people are twisting what it actually means. Or
yeah,
like the thing is, we were saying this word last summer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like a
Yep.
whole nother season we were saying this, and it meant to what I'm saying, those type of people.
Yeah.
I wasn't directing it for people asking dynasty questions. Who's your buy
I
low or
I didn't
who to
even.
trade? That doesn't even make sense. That's not engagement for them. That's still interacting.
Yeah.
That's like getting research from the community. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Crowdsourcing.
So I don't know. I don't know. That's one of the cons of the
Yeah.
community.
No, totally.
Mhm.
So, all right. Next question. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What's your day job?
Yeah.
Family,
Well,
things like that.
I'm from Jersey. I
Okay.
live in Jersey, unfortunately. I'm a Tesla mechanic, and
Very cool.
I've been a mechanic for about 11, 12 years. Worked at
Okay.
Nissan. I worked at Audi, Volkswagen, and I landed at Tesla now. So that's pretty much my rap sheet. Like, I don't like cars at all. I like a paycheck. Just to put that out there. I do not like working on cars. I don't like cars, period, to be honest. But working at Tesla has been fun. I really don't define that as a car. It's a computer with wheels, honestly.
Yeah.
So it's a dope experience. It's new to me. You know, I never worked on electric cars prior to working there. So that was something new to jump into. But man, there's not much to me, man. I like eating pizza, drinking beer, and watching football.
I
So
love that. What's your favorite? Well, yeah, I'll ask this question now because it's not in
yeah.
rapid fire. What's your favorite pizza?
Oh my God. Pepperoni pizza, meat lovers. Man, you put garlic butter on the crust, man. Like
Uh-huh.
it goes deep, man. But just pizza in general is like my favorite. I don't put onions on pizza. I don't put pineapples on pizza. None of that weird shit. Like I'm straight traditional, old school. But yeah, you fucking pineapple guy. Oh my
Dude,
god.
I didn't really eat it until I met my now wife.
Yeah,
And like one of her favorite pizzas is pineapple or Hawaiian pizza,
Hawaiian pizza. Yes,
ham and pineapple. And I tried it and it's like, okay, this is actually pretty good. Like,
I ate it when I was drunk and I threw up immediately.
oh no.
It's disgusting.
So that's why you don't like it.
No. I don't dare to try it sober because I'm probably gonna throw up then too.
That's funny.
It's
That is
nuts.
funny. Are you married? Do you have kids?
Yeah, married, 2 kids, a boy and a girl,
Nice.
and probably no more kids for now. Yeah, probably not. they're 3 and 5, so they're very close. So
Yep.
they're arguing over toys that are literally just broken toys or toys they had for years that they don't
Yes.
worry about until the other one has it in their hand. So
Absolutely. I had to break up a fight between my two today because my older daughter picked up just a teacup. And the younger one saw her and just wanted it immediately and just started losing her mind and
yeah,
started like literally just started walking at her and like cocked back to hit her. And I was just like, nope.
nope.
Just stopped her. So then she started throwing a fit because I blocked her. I was like, no, you were about to come hit your sister for a
Yeah,
teacup.
it's
Like,
nuts,
no,
man.
thank you.
Kids do the darnest things.
Yeah. So, all right. So, LaQuan, what are your hobbies outside of fantasy football?
So my hobbies outside of fantasy football, man, like I like to play soccer. I've been playing soccer since I was 3.
Nice.
That's actually like my first passion, but I
Very
like
cool.
doing that.
What
Outside
position?
of what'd you say?
What position do you play?
Midfield, attacking mid, or I tried the transition to striker, but I'm not tall, so once I got into high school, that kind of knocked me out of that position.
Hey,
But I
I'm
went
not
to
tall and I
attacking.
played goalie. So,
Yeah. High school politics, man. That's what it came down to. But to give it up, the guy was like 6'4", so it only made sense. A tall, lanky kid get the headers and stuff like
yeah,
that. But
totally.
whatever, man. I was fast. That's all that matters.
Awesome. Awesome. Any other hobbies outside of soccer and fantasy football?
uh, I mean, I'm good working with my hands. I like doing stuff, yard work and stuff like that. Stuff in the
Building,
basement.
building
So
things.
just handyman stuff like that. I
Okay.
find it enjoyed. It's not exactly work, even though I fix cars all day long. I don't
Yeah.
want to touch cars as soon as I clock out, but I'm good with other stuff around the house.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. All right. Are you ready for some rapid fire?
Full send.
All right. Here we go. And this first one, I know the answer. Everyone that's watching can see the answer. But favorite NFL team?
The Rams.
Okay. It's rapid fire.
Mhm.
Why are you a Rams fan? Being from Jersey.
See, I get this question a lot. To be honest, it's the first NFL game that I watched. Honestly,
Okay.
it was literally, as a kid, just seeing football on TV. You're just like, hey, what team is this? And I saw Marshall Falk, I saw Isaac Bruce,
Yep.
Torrey Holt, and also as a kid, always playing Madden. You see their Madden rating up there. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I'm gonna pick the best team. And like, I kind of just fell in love right then and there. And like, just playing Madden through the years as well, just solidified the passion for the team as well. And people are like, you're from Jersey. Why do you like the St. Louis Rams? I'm like, doesn't matter. I don't care if they play in Japan. Like, I like this team. And then
Yeah.
when the Super Bowl, they go to the Super Bowl and get basically cheated out of the way of winning it, thanks to Brady and Belichick. But we ain't gonna talk about Spygate. But anyway,
I hate that guy. I'm so glad he retired. So glad he retired.
Thank you. Football is back to being great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird. It's very weird, but hey.
Dude, I'm from
No.
Alabama and I'm a Browns fan because of Baker Mayfield.
There you go.
Explain that.
There you go. Like, it doesn't matter. That's what's crazy. Like, I literally hate Philly fans because they're they're delusional. One,
Yes.
two, they're like living in Jersey, like so close to Philly. Like, people think Philly fans are that are sprinkled around Texas, sprinkled around Florida, California, wherever. They think they're bad. Like, be here living like close to Philly or living in Philly to see the fans. Like, they're freaking nuts. Like, they're the worst. And I just don't like dealing with them, man.
Oh, that's a fair assessment. You and I know a few that when it comes to them talking about Philly, it's like I could block you.
Yeah.
Not every other day of the week I can handle you, but when you talk about Philly, I could block you.
Yeah.
So I won't name names there, but so all right, favorite sport that's not football.
Soccer, hands down.
Awesome. Favorite food.
Pizza.
Yep. You've already answered some of these. So, favorite sports movie.
Ooh, does Waterboy count?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hell yeah, Waterboy then.
Absolutely. All right, favorite non-sports movie then.
Ooh, that's a good one. Has to be Goodfellas. Goodfellas
Oh,
for
that's
sure.
a good one too. That's a classic.
Yes, I love classics. Big movie buff.
Awesome. All right, favorite band.
Favorite band. Outcast.
Nice. Very nice.
Outcast.
All right, and favorite adult beverage.
Blue Moon.
Oh, that's a good one. Have you had the mango Blue Moon?
Yes. That's
like
actually
that
the
one a
only
lot.
one outside of the regular Blue Moon I would drink.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
Yeah, that one actually hit me randomly when I ordered a Blue Moon at a restaurant. They showed up with a mango. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I drank it. I'm like, oh, this is actually good. I'll keep it.
Yeah. Awesome. Favorite TV show.
The Office.
God, LQ, we need to talk more because I love your answers so
100%.
far.
I literally have it paused right now, like watching it.
Nice.
I'm watching this super show, like where it's basically like the uncut scenes and stuff, extended scenes. I mean,
awesome. Very cool. Okay. For these last two questions,
mm-hmm.
I need right now and I need all time. Are you ready?
Yep.
Favorite defensive player right now and all time.
Aaron Donald. It has to be Aaron Donald.
Okay,
No,
for both?
No, it's for both, man. All time.
Love
Because like he's playing at a high level. And even when he came out of the draft, like looking at his profile, like he's short, but he looks strong. But then he's wreaking havoc in year one with Robert Quinn on the other side. And it's like, our defense is disgusting. Greg Williams does not deserve this guy like at all. So it has to be Aaron Donald best at his position all time. Cause like, well, I really feel like, there's not many names you could put out there that wreak havoc on the game like him constantly every year.
I don't know. It might have been you. I don't know for sure, but somebody retweeted or quote tweeted something about him and compared him to Lawrence Taylor.
It's there.
And
it's right
his stats were equal or better than Taylor's.
Better. Yeah.
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 And almost every category. Like I think Donald led in sacks.
QB pressures,
QB pressures.
it's nuts.
Yeah.
And he's doing this from the interior.
That was literally
nobody's
what I was about to say.
understanding that. Like, understand how hard that is. You're getting doubled and tripled almost every single play. And you have to do this all 4 quarters every year.
Well, so as a Browns fan, I unfortunately see a lot of Steelers fans on my timeline, and they'll talk about TJ Watt. And I'm like, TJ Watt is damn good. Like, I'm not denying that. But you put TJ Watt in the interior like Aaron Donald,
won't
he's
exist.
not having the same year.
He's not going to exist. He'll probably have 3 sacks tops.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah. All right. And then the last question, same question, but the offensive side. Favorite offensive player right now and all time?
Right now. Right now.
I have an answer for you for right now. If you don't say who I think it is.
I want to say Cooper Kupp, but that's like it might be Cooper Kupp, honestly. But I don't know if that's my fandom just saying he's my favorite right now. Yeah. But all time, I can skip to all time. All time, man, it has to be like.
Is he right back there in your office?
No, it's not Torrey Holt.
Oh.
Marshall Faulk. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Marshall Faulk. It was Marshall Faulk or Steven Jackson. It was one of those two.
Okay.
Because Steven Jackson, Action Jackson was ridiculous, but it was on a bad team. You know what I mean? Like, Mark
totally.
was okay, but like Steven Jackson was just putting the team on his back literally and just scoring. So I would say Marshall Faulk based on, it was a winning team and got a ring and stuff like that. And it was exciting to actually be, able to watch that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what I thought for your favorite player right now was Cam Akers.
No. He has to earn that. Because I put all my eggs in the basket on Trey Mason, and we see how that turned out.
Dude, that one hurts me on a personal level.
That turned out like he was literally like, I literally was like, I'm getting a Trey Mason jersey. I'm going to the game, this and this and that. And yeah, it just did not work out. It did not work out.
Well, so mental health is a big thing in the fantasy football community, as you know. Mm-hmm. Trey Mason is a case in point that you got.
And I can pinpoint exactly when it happened. No, I can literally pinpoint exactly when the head trauma happened. And like,
he was in a car accident, wasn't he?
No, listen. No. He got smacked in the end zone against San Fran when he ran in for a touchdown. He was there like stunned. And then after that, the offseason happened. Mm-hmm. That's when he started losing his shit. And then he got into the ATV accident or whatever he was doing. Yeah. So I'm like, that was the exact hit and exact moment where it just knocked the screws loose because he got murdered in that end zone.
Yeah. And I hate it because he was so good.
So good, man. And it was so unfortunate because like the arrow was just pointing up for him to be the workhorse. Mm-hmm. He can catch. He's a downhill runner. He's shifty. Like it was just disgusting how good he was.
Yeah. Totally.
Tear down my eye.
You and me both, brother. All right. Well, that wraps up this episode of Kollectiv Knowledge and our first episode of our Black History Month series. LaQuan, thank you so much for being my first guest for this series. I really appreciate it. Enjoyed the conversation. I hope you did too.
Yeah, man.
Before we go, where can people find you and plug anything that you are working on coming up real soon?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Real Deal Fantasy on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. You can definitely check out my stuff every single day of the week where I'm dropping content on my YouTube channel, video content, Downtown Rams. I should be having an article come out Thursday, and also look out for Welcome to the Fantasy Community as a newsletter.
Nice. Very cool. And will that Welcome to the Fantasy Community be on Downtown Rams?
No, that's actually coming straight from Real Deal Fantasy. So if you subscribe, it'll be in your email the night before, so you get to jump on it.
Okay, cool.
Yes, sir.
Well, I will. I'll get that from you for the show notes for when this releases is audio only.
Nice.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Kollectiv Knowledge. I am your host, Shane Barrett. You can find me on Twitter at FFShaneB. If you like the show, make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube, and make sure you like and subscribe on your preferred podcasting network to the Fantasy Nightcap, because that is where this will come out as an audio-only version. LaQuan, cheers, my friend.
Cheers, brother. Had a great time.
Awesome.